Hello, and welcome to this video where we'll be talking about a solo Maelström build to let you attack the Titan's heat cores and survive while doing so. Of course, the build will require some heavy engineering, so you've been warned. So, first things first, set your neutralizer hotkey in Options menu under Controls, Ship Controls and Miscellaneous to whatever is the easiest for you. I set it up to button B. So then, obviously, you need to situate yourself somewhere close to the Maelström so your fuel consumption could be low. Then, jump to the Maelström system and I hope that you won't get into it 1,000 times before reaching the Maelström itself. After reaching the Maelström, deploy your hardpoints immediately and switch to Caustic Sink's fire group, and start boosting continuously towards the heart of the Maelström. You can recognize it from the red clouds because your sensors will actually deceive you by showing the Titan in different places. After reaching a certain depth, you will start receiving caustic damage. Caustic sinks will absorb this, but don't forget to eject them after they're full, because this will result in you receiving caustic damage to the hull, which is something we want to avoid. Next, after reaching a certain depth, you will see that red cloud changing to a teal-like color, and hear that charging sound effect, which signifies that the pulse is about to come, so you'll need to charge your Thargoid pulse neutralizer. So put 4 pips to systems and 2 to engines and wait for the pulse wave to arrive. Timing is very important here, because the Thargoid pulse neutralizer drains the system capacitor pretty quickly, so it is imperative that you start charging the neutralizer when the wave is approaching you, not when it's been launched. During the absorption of the wave, your ship will start heating up, so be prepared to launch a heat sink to keep the heat damage away. I don't do this because I'd rather keep that heat sink for later on. So it's up to you and how comfortable you feel in the Maelström. After this point, keep boosting until you reach the Titan, and make sure after entering the asteroid fields to get a visual confirmation as to where the Titan actually is. Get closer, but stop boosting so you can maintain a low heat. Let the rescue ships repair that little damage you received from the Maelström, and make yourself comfortable at a position you can see the Titan's heat vents. Switch to your weapons fire group with 3 pips to weapons and 3 to engines. Wait for the heat vents to open somewhere nearby while maintaining a low heat signature. Now, when the heat vents are open, target them and launch your first nanite torpedo. Keep boosting in a circular motion to get to as many heat vents as possible before they close. Do the same for each and every one of them you can catch up to, and when they're closed, fly to the backside of the Titan while boosting. You're going to need every bit of speed and maneuverability here, so the amount of damage you're going to do to the core really depends on how comfortable you feel with your ship and flying skills. Reach the core of the Titan, but be careful to maintain a low altitude, because some Thargoids will warp in exactly at the top of the heat core, so their wake will disrupt your trajectory and send you to an off direction tumbling. The core will be at the middle of the lit up section of the Goid that looks like needles, and you should fly at about 2 kilometers distance to it to be able to deal the maximum damage to it. Be careful as it will heat your ship up because it is dissipating heat, so you're going to need to launch a heat sink to keep your modules safe from the heat damage. After the core retreats back to its housing, quickly turn the other way and boost away from the Titan as fast as you can, as it will launch its blue electric field of hatred, so it is very important to remain at a safe distance. Congratulations, you have officially completed your first Titan attack run. After this point, it's just a game of cat and mouse, so you need to remain cold and away from the Goids patrolling the area around the Titan. Wait for the next opening to strike again. You can choose to kill some scouts here and there, but this will only blow your cover, so I recommend focusing on the Titan itself as long as possible. If you find them to be too crowded for your taste, just get out of the Maelström, rearm, repair, come back for another run. Now for the build I'm using. I've been using this build for Maelström dives to rescue or gather materials from the Titan because it is extremely reliable, and even though having a boost speed of 557 meters per second, it'll have a 2.7 thousand hull, so it'll definitely be strong enough to keep you alive for a good amount of time. For hardpoints, I use the pre-engineered enhanced XMCs because I'm too lazy to aim with a missile launcher, but I also didn't want to limit my ability to damage. These things have autoloader and 10% more damage, so why not? If you don't want to grind for them, you can get some missile launchers as well. Guardian torpedoes, I use only one medium size of them because it has 60 rounds in reserve and they do no damage. They only disrupt the heat vents, so you aren't going to be using them for the heat core. Only for the vents, so that gives us more than enough ammunition. For the utility slots, I use the Pulse Xeno Scanner, Thargo Pulse Wave Neutralizer, one engineered caustic sink and one pre-engineered heat sink. For the core modules, I went with the grade 5 heavy duty deep plated lightweight armor to get rid of mass so I can have max speed. Power plant is low emissions thermal spread so we can keep the heat signature to a minimum. Grade 5 dirty drag drives for thrusters. FSD is whatever I could find laying around, but make sure you have a decent one because we're trying to jump to the max distance while having 8 tons of fuel tank. Life support and sensors are lightweight. Again, less mass equals more speed and more maneuverability. Distro is charge enhanced and cluster cap because I wanted to be able to hold the neutralizer charge a bit more. Optionals are business as usual, 5D repair limpets, 3 modular reinforcements, 1D, 2D, 3D, size 4 cargo rack, anti-corrosion is optional, 3B AFMU because it has more capacity than a 3A, and engineering on it is optional. I did it just because I can, and the rest is heavy duty deep plated D-class hull reinforcements. So that's it for this one. Now that the caustic sinks and pulse wave neutralizers are available to everyone without the grind, it is possibly the best time to try some of this action for yourself, and if you have to do it solo, this build will get you started from a decent point. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you out in the fronts.